Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. So over the weekend, Canelo retained his undisputed super middleweight titles against John Ryder. He won by unanimous decision. Judges had him on all three scorecards. I had him on all three scorecards. I'm pretty sure everybody had him on all three scorecards. But it brought up the question, did he really underperform? I personally think he did. And that brings up another question. Is Canelo past his best? Like John Ryder said in the post-conference, who knows? Today's video, we're going to be going over what is next for Canelo. So to recap the fight quick, Canelo did dominate him, right? I mean, if you looked at John Ryder's face, it was terrible, right? Busted up nose, probably had a broken nose, blood everywhere from the middle of the fight. But, he put him on the ground early in the fight. I honestly, going into this fight, I didn't think it would go past 8 to 10 rounds. Okay, I was definitely wrong, which I'm kind of glad. John Ryder definitely does have heart, but we cannot mix it up with still getting dominated, right? It brought up the question. And John Ryder actually said this in the post-conference, saying, Canelo's past his best, and I personally believe that, okay? But just pure boxing, he didn't get the knockout, and you don't have to get the knockout every single fight to be considered good, okay? We know Canelo's power, we know what he did to Amir Khan and other fighters, but we were expecting him to really knock out John Ryder. I mean, he had a weak record, okay? Weak opponents. We thought this was just going to be a tune-up fight, and it wasn't the case. I was expecting Canelo to really put him flat on the canvas, and prime Canelo would have done that, absolutely, but it's still, John Ryder had amazing heart, no doubt about it, but we can't mix it up to the fact that he still got outboxed and still got dominated. But, okay, that also, like I'm saying, it just brought up the question saying, is Canelo past his best? Because he was struggling still. He still put on a good fight. He still was having a hard time. It was a tough opponent. It was a tough defeat, even though he still won by unanimous decision. It's weird. Here's why it's weird. Canelo's held to these high expectations every single fight, these high standards. He's listed as the face of boxing. He calls himself the face of boxing. But we have Gervonta Davis creeping up really fast. I still have Canelo as the face of boxing. But after a performance like that, not knocking out a guy like John Ryder in your home country in front of 50,000 fans, that questions are really the face of boxing. So, if we think about what is next for Canelo, we look at his age. He's young, 32 years old. Okay, he turns 33 in July. 32 years old, that's still pretty young, right? But you only hit your prime once. And I think Canelo's past that. He started off pretty young, which I think obviously might hurt him. Okay, he's slowing down. There's no doubt about that. He probably reached the end of his prime after the Caleb Plant fight. Why? Because, well, undisputed and knocked him out in the 11th round. Caleb Plant, very good defense. I thought that knockout was going to happen sooner, but still, that was like the end, maybe the peak of his prime. Maybe I'll consider the peak of his prime against Billy Joe Saunders. That performance was amazing. I consider that to be his peak of his prime. I see Caleb Plant being a little below that, and then Dimitri Bivol, which you can't really judge much. He doesn't belong in the light heavyweight division. He went up there. I respect him, a smaller guy, and he still put up a pretty good fight against Dimitri Bivol, that's his division. That's his division. He lost by unanimous decision. Then faced Gennady Golovkin. Okay, third fight. Obviously, we know Golovkin was past his prime. I really didn't understand the need for that fight. He won by unanimous decision easily. It was unfortunate to see that fight, but it was still out of his prime. Obviously, not knocking out Golovkin doesn't say much. I mean, Golovkin has one of the best chins in boxing history. But then we see John Ryder, and we think, okay, right, he came up that loss a year ago on May 7, 2022 against Bivol. Had just a regular showing against Golovkin. That fight wasn't needed. Maybe John Ryder could be a tune-up fight. I was thinking, like I said, I predicted this to not go past 8 rounds, and that just was not the case. So, I mentioned this in my show before. He wants a rematch with Dimitri Bivol at 175. Me personally, I think that is a stupid idea. He has nothing to prove. That is Bivol and Arthur Beterbiev's division. Canelo going back up for that when he can't even knock out John Ryder. Can't knock out, well, I gotta stop saying can't knock out Golovkin, because once again, it's not a big deal if he can't knock him out. He has an amazing chin. Either way, bumping up and just, I feel like it'd just be bad for Canelo. I think it could really ruin his legacy. It didn't ruin his legacy when he lost to Bivol the first time, okay? Like I said, I already mentioned it already. I already had the excuses. Smaller guy going up in the division. I respect him a lot. That didn't really ruin his legacy. If he faces Bivol again and loses, I think that ruins his legacy. It's a stupid fight for him. Me personally, I don't want to see that. I really do not want to see that. I think Bivol wins again. Maybe this time putting him on the canvas, right? Canelo, I don't think ever got knocked down, okay? And I could see that happening against Bivol again. He's a very good, talented fighter. Canelo doesn't belong in that division. Yeah, he defeated some guys like Sergey Kovalev in the light heavyweight title, but he was past that. Sergey was past that. Dimitri is in his prime now. He's dominant. We need to see the fight between him and Arthur Beterbiev. That brings up the next question, or the next opponent, who I want to see, and that is David Benavidez, 27-0, just defeated Caleb Plant in a very good fight. He's the one that we all want to see. Two Mexicans going at it. That country would be insane. Probably would be held in Mexico. I want to see this fight be held in the fall, okay? Then at that time, I wouldn't be surprised if Canelo maybe considers retirement. This might be an overreach, I understand that. But I feel like what's best for Canelo, and I'm just a nobody. I'm just a fan who loves boxing. I love Canelo, I do. He's an exciting fighter, one of the first fighters I learned, first boxers. But as a fan of him, I want to see him just, I want to see him fight Benavidez. Shut all the haters up. Prove how good you are. Show your dominance and just beat Benavidez, which I think he could. Maybe not by knockout, but I think he could definitely beat Benavidez. Shut everybody up. Retain, have another super middleweight defense. I think consider retirement. He doesn't have it anymore in the light heavyweight divisions. Maybe if he fights, some low-ranked guys, but Arthur Beterbiev and Dimitri Bivol, no chance. Definitely not Arthur Beterbiev. Okay, he does not withstand that power. So I think I'd like to see Canelo fight David Benavidez in the fall, and then really, consider retirement, because there's nobody really left in the super middleweight division. Anthony Durrell, that's really it, right? Like, I'm not really seeing anybody else for Canelo to really fight. Plant, he proved he's better than Benavidez. I think he could beat Durrell maybe, but even then I don't see that happening. Benavidez already beat Durrell. I think that he should really consider hanging up after that. That's just my thoughts. I love Canelo though. As a fighter, I watch every single one of his fights. I support him. He's one of my favorite fighters. But if you want to save your legacy, pick your opponents wisely. Going after Bivol, not the right decision. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to comment down below what you guys think, and subscribe to my channel. Help me get to 7,000 subscribers, and just stay tuned for more boxing and sports content. I'm out, guys. Peace.